Okay, hello everybody. I'm Mr. Schweikhofer, and I just want to go over the project that you're working on. Your first project for social studies, yay! And just kind of go over what you have to do. Now we've covered this all in class. There's really no new information here, but I just thought it'd be a good idea to have this little video for you so you can look it over and you can see if there's any questions you have that hopefully this video can answer for you. The first thing is I share with every student, is this document. It's called If I Ruled the World Project. You're going to need this document because you're going to have to file and make a copy of it. Remember, we made a copy of documents in class, and you're going to have to share with me the copy that you made. So you're going to have to look up this document. This document will be in your shared folder, your Share With Me folder, okay? Or incoming, if you have a new version of Chrome, it'll be incoming. You click on that and you'll find this document, If I Ruled the World Project. What you're going to need to do first is you need to go to File, make a copy, and then you make a copy, make sure you name it correctly, core space, your number space, your last name space, your first name space, and then If I Ruled the World Project. Okay, all the spaces in between those words. And then you have that copy, and then you need to share with me. Remember, you need to go up to the share button, and you're sharing it to room120work@gmail.com. Don't forget to take off that little check mark where it says send an invitation, okay? And then it'll be okay, a yes, and then done, and it's shared with me. Okay, so you might be able to share with me correctly. So what is this assignment? Well, it gives you a little right up here about it, and one of the important things you're going to need is this link. There's a link here. You click on the link, and it takes you to a website that actually has all the information here. I'm not going to read everything word by word. I'm just going to kind of paraphrase some things. But again, feel free to read this and get all the details from the introduction, the procedure, etc. Essentially, what you're going to do is you're going to pick any spot in the world and make your own country there. That's what it says here for number 1 for procedure. It doesn't matter if there's already a country there. It's going to be a new country that you're going to create in that spot. Okay? So, you pick a spot in the world. Nothing in the United States. Nothing like in Wallingford or Connecticut or California, outside the United States, because we know about the United States already. So any place outside the United States, you're going to pick a spot in the world, and you're going to make your own country there. So once you do that, it gives you a little right up here, okay? You're also, one thing it says, number 1, is you want to make sure as you get information about that spot in your country, you can make up things about it as we go through the project, but they need to make sense. So for example, if you pick a spot that has a cold climate, a lot of snow, you don't want to say, oh, we're going to have the best beaches and we're going to suntan a lot and things like that there, because that doesn't make sense. If it's so cold and a lot of snow, you're probably not going to be on a bunch of beaches. So as we go through and you make up things about your country, it should connect to actual facts and actual information about that particular spot that you picked. Okay? You'll see that as we go along. You're going to need to complete a checklist, a geography checklist. That geography checklist is right here. This is on the document that I share with you. So you're going to, again, this is on your copy, you're going to put in, where is the location, both relative and absolute. Tell me about the place, both physical and human features, about your new country, wherever spot it is that you picked. Obviously, some of the human features, again, you can make that up as long as it makes sense. So if you say a human feature is that we all go to the beaches and we suntan a lot and we enjoy beach weather, but yet you picked a location in the Arctic Circle, way up by the North Pole there, that's a problem. Okay, so it should make sense. But you can certainly make up things that your humans do there. The region, you need to explain what region, what countries are also around it, and would they share in the same region. Movement, push and pull factors, you're going to write right here. And HEI, both humans affecting the environment and the environment how it affects humans in your place, whatever it is that you picked. Okay? So once you complete that part of that file, then it says next create a drawing or make up an item that would represent your new country. It could be anything you want. You could draw your own, create your own national flag. It could be that you make a brochure. It could mean that you build a model of the capital city. It's up to you. You can be as creative as you want. You could write a song, make a dance, do all the things that we talked about on the possible project list, project sheet that I gave you in class. All different ideas, diagrams, whatever you want. And you're going to make something to represent your country. Okay? Then you're going to explain all this. So you're going to need to prepare to explain all this. Your new country, and you're going to explain, here's my country, it's called, and come up with a name, it's called Blue Chair or Schweikhoferville or whatever you want. and you're going to get up at some point and you're going to explain this to the class. And here's what it would be like. It's in this part of the world. Here's the relative location. Here's the absolute location. And you're going to go through some of that information that you put on your file about your new country, the spot that you picked. And you can tell us about it a little bit. And you can share with us the thing that you made, the poster, whatever the song, whatever it is that you created about your country. Okay. Last but certainly not least, it says here you're going to write a letter to your parents convincing them to move there. So you want to convince them why you're going to move there. So you want to think of things of why is your new country better than Wallingford, Connecticut, where you live. Okay, so you want to make it convincing, and you also want to focus on your audience. This is part of the writing that you're working on with Mrs. Bowman about persuasive writing or argumentative writing as well. You're going to need to focus on that audience. What would convince your parents? So for example, if you say, oh, well, we're going to play soccer there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and your parents don't like soccer, that's not really going to convince them. So you want to think what would be convincing to convince your parents to move there. And you're going to put that in a letter to them. And where do we write that? Right on this file that you created. It says right here, type your persuasive letter here. Be sure your essay convinces your parents to move as a reminder. And you're going to write your letter right here. So, what are some of the things that you're going to be graded on again? What do you need to worry about? Well, on the website again, you have your grading rubric. You're going to have your geography checklist sheet. That's that geography checklist item. That was all these 5 things, the 5 themes that you're going to write about your country. Okay? Then your country item or drawing, the thing you're making to represent your country or show something about your country. Then that class presentation, first time you're going to get up and talk to the class and say, here's my country, here's what it's called, and we'll talk about all these things in class as well, but that'll be a class presentation. We'll go over some tips about giving presentations. And then your persuasive letter, that's the letter you're writing to your parents to persuade them to move. And obviously your best writing and all the mechanics and everything would be with that, and we'll talk all about that in class as well. And then finally, just a category of overlying effort. The work is on time and it's shared correctly in Google Drive, these shared portions of it. Obviously, the thing you're making is not in Google Drive, but your checklist, as far as the 5 themes, the letter that you're writing, those are both Google Drive items that you're sharing with me in that file. You made that copy of that file. Okay? The details in class we'll go over about, again, some more examples of things to look at. We'll go over examples about how to give a presentation, the rubric for actually persuasive writing. We're going to go over all that kind of stuff in class. This is just really meant to be sort of an overview so you know what you need. There really are 5 things here that you're being scored on. So you want to review them, you want to review the website, you want to definitely make sure you have this file and that you make a copy of it correctly and share it with me correctly. So you need to do those things, and if you ever have a question, you need to ask me as soon as possible. And finally, you need to work on this every day. The Schweikhofer train, remember we talked about that in class. You don't want to get it all done in one day. That's going too far ahead, too fast. But the flip, because then it won't be complete and probably won't be your best work. It'll be rushed. On the flip side, you don't want to fall off the Schweikhofer moving train and just wait till the day before it's due and say, oh, now I'll do it. Because then that's not going to be your best work. So keep working on it each day, and each day in class we'll go over where the Schweikhofer train is, what you should be working on at that particular time. So stay with the train, and on top of that, ask any questions as soon as you have them. Okay, you can't wait till 4 days in and say, oh yeah, I was wondering about the first step, but you need to ask the questions as soon as possible. Again, we're going to go over all this again in class, and with more detail, specific things to look for in the writing and the presentation and things like that. Just I'm going to give you a quick little overview so again you have some idea. And make sure that if you have questions, you bring them to me, and we'll go from there. So looking forward to taking a trip to your made-up, wonderful, fun country someplace in the world. All right, thanks a lot, and we'll see you in class.